I've had a request for a tutorial on the tune Amazing Grace, which I recorded about 18 months ago on this cigar box guitar. It was the first tune that I recorded. Actually, the request was for some tablature. Well, I just think it's easier to show you how to do it rather than write it all out. So I hope you enjoy this, and let's get started. This particular cigar box guitar is diatonically fretted. That means as you go up the fretboard, all of the notes, apart from that one, which I specifically avoided, all those notes are found in the major scale, and in the major scale of G. This has got 3 strings, this guitar, and it's tuned G, D, G. Okay, G, D, G. So it's basically tuned to a G5, or what you guitarists might call a power chord of G. And that gives you lots of problems. It also makes you think outside the box as well. As you go up, you don't have all the semitones that you would have on a conventional guitar. It just jumps up through the major scale, and that's why the frets are not evenly spaced, because obviously it gives you, those big intervals that you need. So this version of Amazing Grace is in the key of G, and I should say that you probably need a fairly good feel for strumming to do it. Some people call these things strum sticks. There is actually a brand name called a strum stick. I actually did have one for a while, and you'll see why we call them strum sticks in a moment. What I'm going to do is just going to make you realise, just by playing the 3 open strings, I've basically got a chord of G. It could be G major or G minor, because I've only got the 1st and the 5th and the octave. But we're going to assume it's a G major. And I'm going to play the 2 strings nearest the ceiling, very technical explanation there, first of all, with a downstroke, and then I'm going to do an upstroke on the string that's nearest the floor. And that's my first part of the tune, see? Now I'm going to do a bit of strumming here, all on the open strings. Down, up, 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 down, up. So I've got 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to do another downstroke, and what I like to do is a hammer on and double pull off. First finger, 1st fret of the string nearest the floor. I'll call it that because it's probably just easier to say that. I'm going to play all 3 strings, I'm going to hammer my 2nd finger down behind the 2nd fret, the same string, pull off, and then pull off the 1st finger that was down in the first place. So I strum the strings once, but I get 1, 2, 3, 4 items. So from the beginning, now this time, I do just a straightforward hammer on as I strum the 3 strings. 1st fret to the 2nd fret, the string nearest the floor, that highest pitched G string. So I do a downstroke, hammer on, leave a little gap, don't be frightened to leave the holes in it. So I go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and the down there is just with the 1st finger behind the 1st fret of that string nearest the floor. So from the beginning, and I would strongly suggest keep going back and gluing bits together. So all that was basically a G chord. Now we're going to make a C chord up. This is how we do it. We leave the string nearest the floor open. 1st finger is on the 1st fret of the middle string, that D string, and the 3rd finger is behind the 3rd fret, the string nearest the ceiling. So there's your C chord. So let's go from the beginning. And I'm going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and the final down, probably hear from my singing there, I'm not going to strum the string that's nearest the floor, because the string that's carrying the melody note is that middle string. So there I only strum the two nearest the ceiling. And then I do a little bit of an ornament here. It's like a sus4, isn't it? And it's all on the string nearest the ceiling, the lowest of the G strings. And I go in frets 3, 2, 1, 2. If you want to hammer that end bit's quite nice. We can play it straight. Or I go again, let's glue it from the beginning. Start again. And then we're going to move up. Now what I do here is I put my little finger, quite unusual, little finger, I think you can see that, okay, behind the first fret, the string nearest the floor, the highest pitched G string. And I strum the strings across and I slur that very deliberately up behind the fourth fret of that string. Now this is going to be a D chord when I've assembled it all. So the little finger's behind the fourth fret of the string nearest the floor. The first finger goes behind the second fret of the middle string, the D string. And the third finger goes behind the fourth fret of the string nearest the ceiling. So that's basically a D chord. So once I've slurred up and assembled the chord, I go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I do a lot of that in this tune, that down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. See? Now I turn that D chord into a D7 by lifting the little finger off and putting the second finger behind the third fret of the string nearest the floor. So I've got third fret string nearest the floor, second fret middle string, fourth fret of the string nearest the ceiling, and that's a D7. And I start to do my down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But I have to cut that short because the tune kind of interferes with it. You can see I'm coming into the next part of the tune. So put my second finger behind the second fret, the string nearest the floor. Very deliberate, what I call a dugout slur up to the fourth fret of the same string. So down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now you notice I've got my little hammer on, pull off again, haven't I? All the same as before. This is the same at the beginning, coming up. The hammer on, pull off again. Now this time, I'm going to make a little B minor chord. And I do this by flattening or barring my first finger behind the second fret of the two strings nearest the floor. And my third finger goes behind the fourth fret of the string nearest the ceiling. And again, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And the final down there, just move the chord down one fret, and what you're essentially doing is moving from a B minor to an A minor. Okay? Strum the open strings, down, up, down, up, down. And again you can do this like sus4 type riff on the string nearest the ceiling, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2. That's essentially it. Let's play it through. The great thing about these guitars is that there are essentially no wrong notes. That's not strictly true, of course, but you certainly you've got a fair chance of making some quite nice music wherever you go. And that will certainly give you a fairly nice version of Amazing Grace. If you want a slightly alternative ending, if you don't like that B minor to A minor, just instead of barring the 2 strings on the 2nd fret there, just put your 1st finger on the string nearest the floor and the 2nd fret, and your 3rd finger on the string nearest the ceiling, 4th fret. So it's much the same shape, but instead of barring, you let the middle string go open. So it's basically a B minor there, and that is sort of a D7 now. So your end part would now be. So if you struggle with strumming, it's probably not a bad idea just to start by strumming the strings open and getting this down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. And very often I do a little extra down, up, just as it kicks in again. Listen out for that. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Very loose, very kind of fluid strum. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that helps you to learn how to play the tune. So this guitar was made by Chicken Bone John, who's up in the Midlands of the UK here, and it's really, really nice. It's got a lovely, lovely sound, a lovely milky kind of sound. I really enjoy playing this, and I'm not playing it plugged in, although I could do. As you can see, it does have a jack socket, but I actually just love the acoustic sound of it, and it's been a real joy to me, this guitar. If you checked out my other videos, you've seen I've done quite a few video performances using this particular guitar. It's absolutely brilliant. So if you want one of these, get in touch with Chicken Bone John, and I'm sure he'll be only too happy to build you one.